All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official First State Hoops Report Delaware High School Basketball Tournament preview show. And as you can see, I am not alone today. Of course, if you don't know who I am, I'm First State Hoops Report founding editor and holding court host Chris Stevens, and got a couple of my guys with me today to discuss this tournament situation. We got my guy Bruce Wain up to my left, and to my bottom left, we got G Johnson, Strictly GP, and once again, before we get this show started, let me remind the audience: the views expressed by the guests of Holding Court are not those of Chris Stevens and First State Hoops Report. So whatever they say, and they got no problem sticking to what they saying. So I mean, if you got a problem with that, you can take it up with them. But as far as me, I'm just here to moderate. I mean, I have my opinions, but I'm basically here to moderate. So what's going on, fellas? How's everybody doing?
What's happening?
All right, so we're going to get started with the girl side of things. Let me pull this bracket up so we can because we probably going to spend more time talking about the boys, unfortunately, because, I'm
a little rusty on girls. The start time of girls' games is so bad that some of us can't get to 90% of them. So there's another thing that we probably need to fix in Delaware. But what can I say?
Before we talk about the girls bracket, I was at the Henlopen Championship games yesterday. Dover beat Woodbridge. They won by like 12. Dover got a pretty solid squad. That was my first time seeing them. Yeah, Reagan almost bought them back by ourselves. And
I'm telling you,
she had like 20 and 8.
Right now, there's 3 spots that I feel like are already defined for girls' first team all state. And those last 2, man, it's going to be it's a traffic jam. Like, I'm not going to give away my ballot as of yet. I mean, Chuck Durante said the ballots are coming out to those of us that have a vote later on today. But I'm not going to give away my ballot, obviously. But there's 3 spots, and I'm pretty sure people can guess out there which 3 girls I'm talking about. But at spots 4 and 5, it's a lot of work. But we're going to get to it. But all right, so for the girls' first round, let's talk. The girls' first 8 is Carabelle's number 1, Ursuline is number 2, St. E is number 3, Padua number 4, AI DuPont number 5, Stanford number 6, Delmarva Christian number 7, and Aberquinnamock number 8. And first round matchups go Odessa versus Lake Forest, St. Mark's versus Cape Henlopen, DMA versus Conrad, Howard versus Hodson, Seaford versus Friends, Woodbridge versus ECS, Dover versus Wilmington Charter, and Archmont versus Smyrna. So I'll open up the floor to you guys. First thing first about that top 8. It's clear that Carabelle.
The best team is the 6th seed.
The team that probably deserves to be the top seed shouldn't be the 6th seed. The point system, it is what it is. You got to deal with the point system. But 6th seed? Wow. Just looking at their schedule again, I admit I am not I don't get to cover girls the way I probably would like to because of the times. But how do you beat all the top teams and end up a 6th seed? That's weird. That's weird.
The thing that probably gets them is their conference because they're independents. I don't think there's another independent team, boys or girls, in the tournament.
Yeah, it's probably got like some different way that you got to weight this stuff or something because you forced into conference play. And it's like, I'm in a bad conference. Yeah, I got to play these people twice.
Play once.
And it's like, again, you beefing it up by you playing these better teams. But, 6th seed. Have they ever been a 6th seed before? Like, how does that work?
Not to my knowledge.
I can't remember them being lower than 4.
They always in that same conference. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird to say a 6th seed. It's crazy. That's the craziest thing. Out of both of the brackets, that was like the most surprising part. Like 6th seed. Wow. Okay. I don't think it changes anything. You still know where they're gonna end up at.
Right.
Yeah,
but it makes it for a weirder path when they get to that, that 3-6 game. Now they gotta play against a top team too now. It's like kind of weird. Yeah. So kind of like you did St. E's wrong by doing it that way when you think about it.
Yeah, because it's hard for lightning to strike in the same place twice. We all know this, but I went to that first Sanford St. E game, and that was when my eyes were opened up a little bit. And I know that a lot of the folks are still salty with me that I had Sanford still at number 3 after beating Ursuline. And yeah, I get it now because they went unbeaten against everybody in the state, including the big three, big three, St. E, Caravel, and Ursuline. I saw all three of those games in one form or another. And I saw the St. E's game live and up close, and that was when my eyes were opened at. This is a really good team. I mean, they're not going to overwhelm you. It's not like when Dallas and Zy were there last year. I mean, Jada and Tyler are really good, but, you know, Dallas and Zy were just like, I mean, they were 1 and 2 for a player of the year ballot last year. You probably won't have that again until Gigi and Taylor are like, you know, probably next year. So, yeah. But, you know, I mean, Sanford being 6 is weird, and it does hurt St. E because St. E has had a really good season. But the good news is for St. E is at least it'll be at their gym because they got their behinds handed to them by Sanford at Sanford. I don't know if that'll happen again at their gym, but I feel like I was talking to Bruce before we hit the air. I feel like this is AI's best shot to get to a Final Four because that 4-5 bracket is really not that imposing because you look at it. Paddle is going to get the winner of Hodson and Howard, and I'm not discounting Hodson or Howard because, of course, I know players, families, and coaches from both sides. So, I mean, it's not like I'm saying Paddle is that much better than them, but it's probably going to take a superhuman effort to beat Paddle, and AI is going to have the 5 seed, and they get the winner of Seaford and Friends. And Friends already beat Seaford this year. So I feel like AI could beat Seaford, but if Friends goes to AI, then AI's probably going to drop 100. I mean, no disrespect to Friends, but yeah, they're the only other independent conference team aside from Sam.
I just saw that. Yeah.
Boys or girls in the state tournament. So, yeah, I feel like that top seed, but and Bruce was like, he asked me on IG, he was like, yo, do you feel like Archmere is in upset territory?
Because 24 for Smyrna girls that just sounds low.
They're much better than 24.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it's just, again, going back to the points, what G said, I mean, the points are just like really weird because Charter had 2 less wins than Smyrna, but somehow got the tiebreaker for the 23rd. Early College won 15 games. I don't think they beat a team above 500 all year.
And that's the crazy thing with a lot of, like, on the boys' side, too, you know, we get there. But it seems like a lot of people scheduling week and playing against other people that schedule week, and they both getting bonuses because they played each other with a bunch of soft wins. So it's kind of weird. Like, you know, how are you supposed to schedule? Just keep scheduling soft teams that played other soft teams that got 15 soft wins? You know, it's weird the way the system is working out right now. People done figured out how to game it feel like.
Yeah, this is probably the weirdest year, like, that I can remember as far as seeing, like, how things panned out because we'll get to the boys' side. I'll save that. But, yeah, this is one of the weirder years, like, as far as the seedings that I can remember.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to have much effect. It's probably not going to have much effect on the top 8, I don't think, because I feel like, you know, I feel like up until that 3-6 matchup is going to go chalk. I feel like Caravel is going to get to the Final Four, obviously. Ursula's going to get to the Final Four.
What about 7 Delmarva Christian?
It's usually going to be, like you said, the top 3, I guess it could be 1, 2, and 6 or 1, 2, and 3. And then there's always that one team that's basically going to be there to get eaten. So, like last year, Woodbridge, Ursuline was kind of there to get squashed. And, you know, even though Caravel kind of got squashed too, but they should have been competitive anyway. But it seems like with the girls, you get the 3 top private schools and some feeder fish, sadly, you know. And it seems like it's going to come down to that again. That's how it seems. You'll have 2, you know, 1 really good semifinals and then a really good championship game, whoever is going to be the 2 teams that's there. Could be wrong. I mean, that 4th team might be something. Who knows? But, you know, it usually seems like it's really just 1 good semifinal and then, you know.
Yeah, AI already played Caravel this year, and that did not end very well for them.
I'm mad I went to that game. I'm sorry.
I'd love to see, you know, we all like Lucky. I'd love to see AI get there, or I'd love to see Howard get there and shock the system. But it's the way things is weighted toward, you know, those top teams is with girls. It's really hard to see anybody really changing, you know, unless they get some super duper star to come there, like the Ursuline girls, to come to one of those type of schools to really shake things up. It's kind of hard, you know. They get all the talent. They got all the talent. What can you say?
Yeah, I told Luck yesterday, because I was at the Blue Hen games yesterday. I told Luck before they played Apple. I said, I said if they gave you what Coach Thompson has at Sanford, what Coach Noonan has at Ursuline, he'd probably be like, one of these coaches that we talk about, in terms of like being like, elite level. But it's crazy enough because people forget that AI didn't have a program for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, there was the pandemic year where they had where they shocked everybody in one flight B, but then they dropped the team again the next year. And that's when
and then they went 3 straight flight B and Blue Hen championship after that. That's kind of
crazy.
That deserves more notoriety. Like,
congrats to them. I wasn't there, so I didn't get to say it. Congrats to them. Shout out to AI girls. That's dope. That's really, really cool that they won 3 in a row. After like you said, they wasn't even there that year before that, or 2 years before that. So, gotta take your hat off to them. That's impressive. It doesn't matter whether they lose the first round. That's impressive season already. Impressive run for all those seniors up there and everything.
Yeah, again, like I feel like Paddle was the wild card in all this because I saw that first game. Bruce said he couldn't make it, but I know he said he got called into work. I know he was salty. I was like, yeah,
I was literally like 5 minutes away.
Yeah, and Paddle won that game in overtime, but that was because AI it was one of those head scratcher type of games for them where they aren't, tuned in all the time. Like they were tuned in from like the 4-minute mark of the first quarter on against Apple, and then Apple just kind of like, just wilted under that pressure. But if AI is locked in for 32 minutes, I do think they are the better team than Paddle. And that's not taking anything away from Paddle because, they won 16 games this year. They won 7 a year ago. And this is coming off of a year where they had a coach who cussed out a referee during senior night, and the parents said that she had to go. So enter
sounds like my type of coach.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't somebody that but it wasn't somebody that the parents were really happy with. So they moved on from her, and they brought in a lady who played back in the 90s, Denise Igo Sackett. She was Denise Igo then, and she was all-state, and they clearly she knows how to run the program because she's a former Panda, and they got a good squad. They got Abby Grillo who used to play at Ursuline. They got
that big guard. I forgot her name. Number 23.
I forgot her name too.
I'm sorry.
Got no rosters here either.
I didn't pull anything up because I knew we were just going to go with this off the rip. But yeah, they have a really good team. They got a 9th grader who's actually like, one of the top soccer players in the state, but she plays power forward for them. Undersized power forward because she's like 5'6" or whatever. But, she grabbed like 15 rebounds against AI. So, that Padua team is tough. But at the same time, I just feel like if AI shows up the way they showed up against Apple yesterday, then I think they can beat Padua. But that remains to be seen. So let me get you guys' real quick girls championship picks and why before we move on to the boys side. So, G, who you got winning the girls and why?
I'm going to go Ursuline, obviously, because of the two, best two. I'm going to keep it funky, man. The best 2 girls that I've seen up close, probably ever, like high school, because I didn't get to see some of the legends because they used to be sold out. I didn't get to see all them up close, but up close, talent-wise, just strict talent, those 2 are probably the most talented at that age for sure that I've ever seen. So as far as I'm concerned, if you look at both of those games, the game against Caravel and the game against Sanford, in my opinion, if they just kept pressing, they would have blew both of them out. Because, they could have ran away with both of those games. They went into this half-court offense. I don't know, I guess to show that they could do it. And all of a sudden, those leads disappeared and they lost. I don't get it. I'm not the coach. I get they got a legendary coach over there and all that, but sometimes you just got to do the easy thing and just, not only are those 2 the best offensive players I've seen, they're probably the best defensive players. Let them attack. The game gets easy when they're attacking. I don't understand. I think they should have blew both teams out. And I think when it gets down to it in there, I think in front of those big crowds, you seen how Gigi did last year in the championship game when she got frustrated and decided to start attacking.
Taking over.
Nobody could guard them when they did that. And I just think when they get in front of them lights this year, I can't see them losing twice. So I got to go with Ursula.
All right, Bruce?
Looking at the bracket and everything, I think Caravel I think Caravel Sanford playing the chip again, and I think Caravel gets them.
Wow.
Second time.
Any reasoning behind that, or just?
I watched the game. I watched the game the other day. Sanford was in control, but I was talking to somebody. I'm like, they only lost by 2.
Ain't much of a the three are not. Those three are so tight when it comes to how good the teams are overall. So I can see it going either way.
And they were down like 6 with like under a minute, and they
wasn't even playing good.
Yeah, like.
And it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat these great teams. It's hard to beat them twice. So
yeah.
It's kind of like, to me, that's why I say Ursuline. They kind of like almost they lost those games to both of them, so they got that, as Christmas say, they get that get back. They get it twice in front of everybody. Yeah. And the same way with Caravel, if they get Sanford, I would still go with Caravel because again, it's beating me twice. It's tough when I got that kind of team.
So I think we're all in agreement that these are the 3 teams. Like,
yeah.
Nobody will be surprised.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything outside of those 3? And yes, I'm including St. E in that. Anything outside of Sanford, Ursuline, and Caravel would be like one of the bigger upsets in probably the last 20 years, I would say. Mm-hmm. So my official pick, I'm gonna go with Bruce with this one. I'm gonna pick Caravel. I just like everything about that team. And again, I
do too. I like everything about all 3 of them. Don't get me wrong. I like all 3 of those teams, and I don't doubt. I see exactly what y'all saying. It easily could happen that way too.
Yeah,
nothing against any of them.
Yeah, I feel like the depth that Caravel has, gives them a little extra edge because it's been crazy to go to. I've been to 5 Caravel games this year, and Larry Banks has had 5 different starting lineups. There have been times when Josiah comes off the bench, or Jordan comes off the bench, or Speedy comes off the bench, or Anaya Price comes off the bench. And you don't lose a thing when you pull one of them out of the starting lineup because they just come right in and pick up where the other one left off. So this is probably one of the deeper teams. I mean, they only go 6 players deep, but when you have that 6, that's a pretty
no drop off.
Yeah, so I mean, you only need about 3 or 4 to have a good night, to win the state championship in this thing. So if you can have 5 or 6, then you're doing good. So I'm gonna go with Caravel on the girls' side of things. And again, these are just our opinions. I mean, this is no reason for y'all to come into our Instagram comments talking crazy. Shouts out to the Wilmington charter parent who tried to bark me down about my ranking, and it's like,
Wilmington charter.
You in those rankings, baby. You in those rankings.
You got to go to the girl. You got to go to the girls' rankings on my IG feed. You'll see it.
They take it personal.
Yeah, he's like, you disrespecting the defending state champs, and I'm like, and this was this dude talking about his first comment was Noonan isn't hiring. He's talking about Coach John Noonan and Ursuline because I had Ursuline number 2. He's like, you disrespecting defending state champions. He sounded like Day company man. Don't grab on pinky stuff. And I was like,
like number 2. Like number 2 is offensive. Like I can see if you said they was 7.
Yeah,
it's 2. It's 2 out of everybody. 2.
DIAA, they 6.
Right. You gave them a lot of props. Apparently, it's crazy.
Yeah, but and I said to him in response, Sanford isn't hiring. So, I mean, I try not to engage in that type of stuff. G be egging me on to do it. He's like, you too nice, and I'm just like, I gotta be. It's just a professionalism, but at the same time, I'm tired of people talking to me crazy, man. Like the kids.
Professionalism does not mean you have to, and not saying that you do, don't get me wrong, but professionalism does not mean I got to lay down and let you tell me what the heck it is. Because if you telling your opinion, it's your opinion. It doesn't matter whether somebody agrees with it. Go make your own rankings. That's what I say. It's not that hard. A ranking is a ranking.
He's been making his own rankings the past 3 weeks.
Exactly. And I will put Del Castle at number 10 every single time if I want to. Because that's how it is. Rankings are rankings, man. Stop taking that stuff so personal. Sometimes, because it's always like you said, it's usually the parents or what I've noticed is the kids that don't even play, not even on the team.
Yeah.
Come on now, if you ain't even make the team, how you gonna tell me what the rankings are?
Well, I'm not gonna go that far because kids are kids. I mean,
that's cool, but again, I'm not gonna change it because you said something. Or what?
I give kids the benefit of the doubt because they're kids. They don't have the life experience yet. But my problem is with grown adults, like 30, 40, 50-year-old people, trying to call credibility into question. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 20 years. y'all just know me for First State Hoops Report. But when I worked in Maryland, I covered a Division III team that made it all the way to the Elite Eight. When I was in college, I covered the Delaware State men's basketball team that played Duke in the national tournament in Charlotte. So people seem to think that just because First State Hoops Report is new, that Chris Stevens is new. And no, Chris Stevens is not new. I've been doing this for 22 years. So I'm at the point now where, okay, yeah, I've been nice enough, but at the same time, y'all not just going to keep talking to me crazy. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And now that we've gotten that straightened out, we move on to the boys now. Let me pull this up so everybody, so we can get this correct.
And just a reminder to anybody, we are going off the top of the dome. We don't have rosters here. I don't know about Bruce, but I don't have anything. I'm just chilling. I just got done doing something, and I'm basically didn't even make it home yet. So we just coming off the top of the head. If we miss something, it ain't personal. Get over it.
Well, I wasn't going to say get over it, but yeah, it's nothing personal.
I'm saying get over it. Yeah.
Again, the reflection, the views of the guests are not the reflection of First State Hoops Report. Just want to make that clear. But all right, top 8 seeds for the boys. We got St. E number 1, Dover number 2, Middletown number 3, Salesianum number 4, Sanford number 5, St. Mark's number 6, Seaford number 7, William Penn number 8, which I thought was extremely low. Numbers are the first round matchups is Odessa Mount Pleasant, Lake Forest Laurel, MOT Charter Conrad, DMA Smyrna, Sussex Central Cape, Woodbridge, Apple Woodbridge, St. George's Glasgow, and Howard and McCain. So we talked about. Here's the thing: people got on me about my ranking McCain in the top 10 all year. I just felt like they were a great story, and people are going to be upset with me for that reason. But we just talked about how public schools just get the short end of the stick all the time. And when you have a McCain team, and of course Steph Johnson, the coach who came on the stream with us on Friday, said this was the first time that McCain has been in tournament since 2007. I don't know about y'all, but I wasn't even here in 2007. So, it's been a long time for that school, and, they deserve a little credit for making it. And, the first round is, I feel like there might be a couple potholes in the first round, but I feel like, everybody that's the higher seed, for the most part, should advance. What do you guys think?
No, exactly.
About the McKean, all three of us was at the McKean game, and we always talk. And like I said, going into that, I expected them to get blown out by Howard. They got blown out by Howard, but like I said to y'all, they're actually not bad. They're not bad. They're not bad. They just, Howard played a really good game. So again, like you said, shout out to McKean to come from last year being a comedy story. It was a pretty funny record and all that to playing how they played this year. I only seen them, I think 2 or 3 times. I watched them, and they're not bad. They're not bad. I got to give them props. I usually keep it real. I got to say that they're not a bad team, and the ranking thing is a little, just like we said with the point thing. I didn't get to see St. Mark's other than like a little tidbit on some live streams, and it's like, that's a high ranking for what I've seen. Higher than William Penn, I don't know. I don't think they're better than William Penn. I don't think they're better than Howard, if we're being honest. So, a little surprised by their rankings.
St. Mark's is good.
I'm not saying it bad. But I would have thought that Howard and William Penn would have been higher than them off of who they played. Because again, it's like, who have they beaten? DMA? Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's their best win this year. And
whereas Howard beat Middletown.
I don't know about the teams they played out of state. So
yeah, I don't even factor that in. Out of state teams, I don't factor it in much because that could be anything. But Howard got a
first game, who I'm surprised didn't make it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't make it either. Surprised Delcastle didn't make it, but that's personal. In fact, I feel like the whole thing is a discrimination against Delcastle because that's who I'm rocking with still. But let me go off of that and say congratulations to my brother over there at Glasgow. Chris Laws got in there. So that's that makes me happy to see that my boy got in there. Shout out to all the coaches that I'm tight with that's in there because most of them in there. So it's cool to see the way the whole field is. It's just a little weird to see some of the rankings. Like, I get it's the point system, but like I said, it kind of feels like a lot of people scheduled other people that played against a lot of nobodies too.
Yeah, it's like some of the teams just seem out of place. It's like, it's not that you shouldn't be here, but it's like, just like,
right. Like, who did you beat? It's kind of like it almost seemed like you can beat a 15-win team sometimes now, and you didn't beat anybody, and they didn't beat anybody, but you beat them, and you get the bonus bonus points for this and that. And it's like, is that how it was really meant to be? I don't know.
Because last year Howard was the only Flight B team to make it, and everybody in Flight A made it except Newark. I guess they were trying to not have that happen again this year.
Yeah.
Well, you still got 6 teams in from Flight A anyway, because I mean you got Middletown, Odessa, Mount Pleasant, Penn, Apo. Who else is in there? I said,
yeah, it should be cool though. Like, as I said all year, it's still kind of take away the seeding part of it, but it's still kind of like 6 to 7 teams that are really, really likely to be that have a chance to win it. A lot of other teams that, again, not to knock you, if you made it there, you deserve to be there. But I don't know how many of them are going to be, expected to make it to like the Bob. I think you got six, maybe 7 teams that are really, really above the rest, and they all played against each other and all that. And it should be interesting from that standpoint. Once you get to like the Elite 8, it should be real interesting there.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, just because I've seen pretty much the only team that I didn't see, I think out of the top 8 is St. Mark's. And I just didn't, I just was moving around so much, and then of course my car kicked the bucket, and so just trying to get that all stuff straightened out. But honestly, St. Elizabeth, I feel like that loss against Sanford, because we were all there, we all saw it. That was the first time that we had seen them look weak in some respects. And I'm not saying that St. E is a weak team by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, you don't go 19-1 just by accident.
You could argue that they might have been. They was just as off. I'm not going to say weak because that's not a weak team. Off. Yeah. They were just as maybe off against Dover too, and which it looked like to me. It seemed like if you got a really good defense on the interior and keep them they can shoot. Don't get me wrong. They got like 7 or 8 dudes that can shoot. But if you keep them just shooting, and if you can keep them making Aiden play again, like have to defend a stronger body down in the paint, you can slow them down a little bit. But I thought Middletown would be able to do that, and they didn't apparently. So, I expected them to lose possibly at Middletown, not Sanford. But like I said to y'all that night, Sanford, because you got that shot blocker in there,
the opposite.
It's going to be tough because, he can force you to shoot jump shots. Jump shots are cool when you want to shoot them, not when you have to shoot them.
Right. And, I mean, I feel like, Sanford, I mean, we don't talk about them. I mean, it's weird because we've talked about Sanford for the last 30 years. But, the last couple of years, they were kind of like not down, but they didn't meet expectations. That, of course, that's why Khalid Hart is the head coach now. And, we talked – I mean, G and I have talked about, Jaden Taylor, trying to, ascend a little bit. And yeah, right now I feel like he's
last month.
If we had a state defensive player of the year, I don't know if we do or not, I've never heard of it, he would be that.
Yeah.
He's a guy who, to me, D1 dude just off of defense and putbacks. Yeah. That's just what it is.
His offense been to another level the last month.
It's been getting better. It's been getting better. I mean, but his main thing is that guy erases shots.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of teams that got that guy. Will Penn sometimes has a couple dudes that do it, but most teams don't have shot blockers that really, really, really change the game. Sanford do. That's why, to me, if they win it all, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They in that top 6 to me that can win it all.
Yeah, I think for me, just going back to what I was going to say about Jaden, it's like, it's just been interesting watching him grow because, I mean, he's 6'8" now. I mean, I don't think he's going to get any taller. I mean, if he gets to 6'11", he probably won't be here next year. Yeah. But, if he stays around that 6'8", 6'9" range, maybe if he puts on another 15 or 20, and he hit a nice free throw line jumper in the first half. I was like, if he can do that more regularly, then we're definitely talking about a kid that's just going to be getting, like, stacks of offers his senior year. But that whole Sanford team, I mean, they're not imposing. I mean, it's not like when it was Jair and Nana. It's not like when it was like Mikey and Eric, but they still have a really good camaraderie with that team. The Spencer kid is a really good shooter. Conway is the big fella. I was surprised by his footwork because he had
I was surprised by his outside shot in that game. He knocked down some big threes in that game.
He's always been a shooter, but
I know he could, but in the bigger games, you tend to see him bumping more down the post. But he stepped out and hit some big threes against St. E's.
Yeah, his footwork was impeccable too on the post. I was like, wow, okay, all right. So yeah, Sanford's one of those teams. Like you said, we can pencil in. But if you guys had to pick like an upset favorite for the Final Four, like out of anybody outside of the 6 or 7 that G thinks or mentions, like who is the team that you feel like could make that leap?
Howard or Apple? Howard or Apple would be the two for me. Howard because that style. We're going to speed this game up and we're going to make people have to think on the fly, turn you over. They don't have the big time shooter that they need. If they had that, or the big, just a big. If they had a big, they would be the top team in the state, if you ask me. If they just have a guy who was a real eraser at the rim like they had a couple years back. But Apple, surprising, Apple's pretty good. I was at Wilmington Apple a couple of days ago, and they lost. But, man, that's a good team. It's a good team. Good guard play. Got some good bigs that can knock shots down too. Not a bad team. I could see them sneaking in somewhere, but I don't expect it.
And I'll throw St. George's in that mix too, just because on their side of the bracket, they're the biggest team by far. And there ain't that many big teams in Delaware. So it's like on that side, they got, I think they could upset Seaford in the second round. Because Seaford ain't seen nobody like that. And if Blair is making shots, then this is all right.
Yeah, Seaford, again, I seen a tidbit here and there, like on some live streams. Haven't watched the whole game, because of seeing them when they did come up here the last 3 years or whatever. Big fan of that Casimir Wise kid. He's a beast. But I just don't like looking at who they played, and I don't know, man. The downstate team's kind of like
guards too.
But the key word you're saying is young.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to the tournament, like next year, probably maybe they'll be like that. But right now, the only downstate team I got any real faith in is Dover. The rest of them, it wouldn't surprise me if they all go out pretty quick, Seaford included. But again, that boy Casimir can heat it up. So I guess that give him a shot. But like you said, St. George's is big. Slow it down in the tournament. It wouldn't surprise me if they can't deal with their size.
And if they had Jaden Bull, they'd probably be, one of the favorites.
I heard he's back.
Nah, he's not. He just played senior night.
Oh, okay. I was told he was back, full time, but okay.
And I'm so mad at myself because I've talked to his father, I've talked to him, I've talked to Rod Griffin, Kyson Ross. I was working on a feature story, and I didn't know that he was playing. If they had told me that, I probably would have made it down there.
I said the same thing to both of them.
Oh, gone it. Because I still got these quotes in the tuck. I think I'm still going to publish the story on Monday, but it was just like, wow, you guys could have told me he was going to hit the floor at least one more time. Jeez Louise. But he's a good kid. It sucks that it had to happen to him this year, but hopefully, maybe with JUCO or prep year, he can get his name back out there because he was good last year.
Yeah, real good.
If he had played this year, St. George's probably would have been like a top 5 team.
I agree.
All right, so we haven't talked about Sal's yet. Of course, they're defending champions, and they're the number 4 seed. So it's been an interesting year for them. They're 12-8, but their 12-8 is a lot different than say, most teams 12-8. So what do you think it's going to take for them to kind of recapture that magic that got them all the way to the championship last year?
Simple. Henson. If Henson is what he was last year in the tournament, they can win the tournament. Because Kareem always do his thing. The rest of those guys, not to say that Henson don't, but if Henson gets cold-blooded like he was in the Final Four last year, who's going to stop him? Yeah. It's always that simple about them to me. The last 3 years, that's kind of how I felt about them. If he goes and does what he does, nobody can stop him right now.
And the big difference between Sally's last year and this year is last year they had a spot-up shooter, which is Brandon Buffon, and a guy off the bench who can come get a bucket, which was Tukey. Yeah, they don't have that this year.
Right.
So it's like even playing against other Delaware teams, it's like, yeah, you also have Kareem, Isaiah, and Justin, but it's like teams catching up to that. If you just focus on them 3, then they're beatable.
Yeah, I've seen Sal's 3 or 4 times this year, and the one time I did see Isaiah go off was against William Penn. and that was the game where they needed him because Emmanuel got off to such a hot start. Jalen was making some shots, and Elam McCoy was, causing havoc in the backcourt. Yeah, they were. Penn was up 6 at the half. I was like, okay, so this game is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how how Sal's responds in the third quarter, and Isaiah scored like 12, 14 points in the third quarter, and it was like, okay, that's what they need. So yeah, he's a kid that his ninth grade year, it looked like he was kind of shell shocked. He was like, wow, should I be here? And then sophomore, junior,
he looked like a football. He looked like a football player. He's a big dude, so he looked like is that a football player? Like, okay, he play basketball. Sophomore year is like, oh, this dude is probably the best player in the state as a sophomore.
Yes.
And then last year, during the regular season last year, it was like, and then when it mattered, best player in the state. And it's like this year, it kind of seemed the same. Like he's coasting. A lot of times he's coasting because that St. E's game, did he even score 10 points in the St. E's game? Didn't look like he really was there, like interested into it. But at the same time, if you see him do what he did against Middletown last year or what he did against Penn in the championship game, who can stop that? He can get a shot off against anybody.
Yeah, that's really what. Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to me too. But let's talk about 1, 2, 3 really quickly before I ask you guys for your picks. The top 3 seeds are St. E, Dover, and Middletown. Of those 3, who is the likeliest to win the whole thing?
St. E's.
Dover.
Okay.
I say St. E's mostly because, in my opinion, you got to say Aiden is probably a runaway player of the year this year.
Oh yeah.
And usually the best, usually on this level, the best player. And if you give the best player a good team, they usually tend to win. So it's like of them 3,
Dover has the next best player, and like on their side of the bracket, I don't see them losing to anybody on their side of the bracket.
I think them in Middletown is going to be interesting if it happens.
Again, yeah.
Middletown got a lot of athletes. Not to say that Dover don't, because I think that's always a really, the kind of athletes you get from Middletown, the kind of athletes you get from Dover tend to be kind of similar to what we used to be Wilmington athletes back in the day. So
yeah.
that could be a really good game. And the same way you say that, I don't see anybody really who's Middletown. They both lucked into like a pretty soft road, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've had the good fortune to see those 3 multiple times. I've seen St. E more than anybody. I've seen St. E 6 times. I've seen Dover twice. I've seen Middletown twice in the last week. And for me, I it's hard to pick against St. E because they just have so much. Like they go 8 or 9 deep fairly easy,
and all of them can shoot. All of them.
Yeah, they go 8 or 9 deep fairly easily. So even if Aiden is having and Sean Green and I talked about it after the Sanford game, there's not going to be a game again in his life. Forget this year. There's not going to be a game in his life where Aiden Tobiasen takes only like 5 or 6 shots like he did against Sanford that Friday night. That's never going to happen again.
And with St. E's, like they can steal minutes by putting, what is he, 5'5", the little 8th grader, or the 5'6", 9th grader, and they can steal minutes and get productive minutes out of dudes that are babies. Right. I don't know who else can do that. Babies that can give you productive minutes, not even steal minutes. I'm wrong by saying steal minutes because they go out there and they actually produce. Mm-hmm. So they got a lot of dudes that can all handle the ball, a lot of dudes that can all make plays, and all of them can shoot, and all of them defend. They just don't have like a real big guy. You got to put Aiden guarding the big guys. I think that kind of slowed him down in that game. I think that was what he had to guard Jaden a lot on both ends. So I thought, that kind of not wore him down, but just changed the game for him. Maybe changed his priority of what he had to do, and he was a little less aggressive in that game.
Yeah, just to say, I picked St. E's to win the beginning of the year. So the reason I'm saying Dover out of those 3, because St. E's, they pretty much got to fight second round on because they played the winner of Odessa Mount. They should win that. Then they got Penn or Howard.
Ooh, that's the weird oof.
Then they got Sally's. Then they got Sally's or Sanford. Then they got, you know what I mean? So it's like, I agree. I still believe they're the best team, but they also got 4 to 5 best teams on their side of the bracket too.
Yeah. They I mean, 19-1, top seed. This is your reward. You're gonna have
they gave them the raw deal, man. That's wrong, man.
They got.
There's no reason why William Penn and Howard. If you flip William Penn and Howard with whoever to the bottom of the bracket, you have a perfect bracket, in my opinion. Or even just like because you need to put 2 more strong teams down the bottom, just to give St. E's. I mean, again, I still wouldn't surprise me if they still run it anyway, but you shouldn't have to play against William Penn. That's crazy. That's too early. That don't make no sense.
And we know Penn. I mean, they went down to Seaford last year when Seaford had all those guys and held them scoreless for the last half of the fourth quarter. This is where Gary Lumpkin, Tail Davis, and that whole staff come alive, and the players just follow their lead. So, I mean, and the first time around when I know where you're going. The first time around when Penn played St. E's, Coach Lumpkin won't have to be worrying about asking anybody to leave the gymnasium. So that's so they got that out of the way early. Sad to see it. I like that kid. That situation. I was sad to see it. I hope he's hope all that went well after leaving. Going, I hope it all played out well for that person. But man, that's crazy. That was a crazy night. I didn't even realize it until you brought it to my attention, because I was just down. I was down, writing down the notes, tweeting out the stats, and you like, yo, and I looked up and I seen Coach, and I was like, woo! I've never seen him mad a day in my life. I was like, geez,
and I've known him since he was like 5, man. I've never seen that dude mad, and props to him though, because with that, that could have figured it to be a big piece of the team. Still had a successful season, right there where they need to be. Worse, they got jerked as far as I'm concerned in the point system, but they still, in my opinion, one of the 6 that can still win it, and that's what it is. So,
all right, so let's go ahead and just put it on the table. Your picks to win the boys state championship.
I'm sticking with St. E's. I picked them at the beginning of the year. I'm gonna stick with them.
I'm like I said, I reveal my biases. I grew up with Lumpkin, played against Lumpkin my whole life coming up. High school, I played against William Penn when him and Taylor were there. Grew up with him too. I gotta go. I hate that they got to play Howard this early too, because I would be picking both of them to make the Final Four, because again, same kind of bias I have with their coach. That's my guy. Grew up with him. I'm going with William Penn to somehow steal that game against St. E's when it happens, and somehow steal that damn game with Sally's too. Oh my gosh. I'm going with Will Penn, man.
There's gonna be a whole lot of stealing going down.
Lumpkin gonna get 2 felonies. He gotta get 2 felonies to win the championship. But that's my guy. I trust him. Again, I've been to several of their games this year. Damn good team. Jalen Horsey. If he ain't first team, we got to redo the way we're doing it. And the same with Emmanuel Vaughn. If he ain't first team, in my opinion, they got 2 first-team All-State players. They should be the team to beat. If they weren't not the team to beat, but they should be the team. They're definitely one of those 6 that got a shot. It's just sad that they got to take that kind of road to get there.
Yeah, north side of the bracket is
terrible. Because again, like seriously, like you if they were on the bottom side, you wouldn't give them. How much of a chance would you give them against Dover? I would think that they would be the favorite against Dover. I think they would probably be maybe not the favorite, but it'd be like it's like a pick 'em against them in Dover and against them in Middletown again.
I was say Dover would be like 2.5
slightly favorites. Maybe slight favorites. Yeah. But again, they got the inside outside that ain't too many other teams got like that. Where you got a dude who can dominate the paint and another dude who can dominate the wing.
Pull from their half court.
And good, they got good guard play on outside, even past Horsey. They got good defensive guards. They got it all. And I was at their last game against Apple. Yo, they was blocking shots like they had Jaden down there. They had about like 8 game changing blocks, yo. Go back and watch that film. Yo, they had some blocks like right at the rim where it was like, yo, how did that happen?
Yeah. All right. So Bruce has St. E. G has William Penn. Normally I'd agree with either one of y'all, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Sanford wins the whole thing.
I don't dislike that pick. That would be my sleeper pick because I think we was all at pretty much the same Sanford games this year, and like I said, the whole year that team's damn good. If the freshman, I can't remember his name on the top, Marquise Newsom.
Yeah,
both of them. Him and
I don't know, but I mean specifically him because of his body type. If he catches fire, he could be that next dude, that next superstar in the state. Because I mean, he got the body type. You could tell he got the skills. He got a couple little fundamental errors that you noticed during the game, but again, that gets cleaned up. And with that coaching staff they got over there, I can see it getting cleaned up. Add that to having a game-changing defensive guy on the back end, and you got post guys and a bunch of guys that can defend. Hey, that team can win for sure. You get those little young point guards, get them doing what they need to do, they certainly can win.
All right, so you got our picks. Sanford from me, St. E from Bruce, William Penn from G's. All right, so this has been the First State Hoops Report holding court state tournament preview. I want to thank Bruce Wain and G Johnson for joining me.
Side note.
Oh, yeah. Gentlemen. Oh, yeah, before I let y'all go, please tell everybody where they can find your photography and all the other stuff that y'all do.
Well, you can find me, my main page, MrStrictlyGP or StrictlyGPSports, or even StrictlyGP Shots. I'm on everything all over the place. I'm a little controversial at times, but so what? Deal with it.
All right, Bruce?
Yeah, Bruce Wain 11 on Instagram. YouTube, BallNightInDeLaWarr. You can see it on my thumbnail on my videos. But I did want to add that, remember in our preseason preview, I said Diamond State will get 3 teams in the tournament. They got 4.
Yeah, I'll give you that because I was surprised
at this point we could call a spade. Diamond State, kind of right there with the Blue Hen Conference. Hey, really, they had a B right now for sure. They right there with, you got to put it up there now. I mean, hey, they got some teams now over there. I'm still shocked that, Conrad ran my Delcastle boys out the gym. I thought we was cruising into the tournament. Like that.
I thought it was gonna be close. And
shout out to Conrad. I'm Conrad coach. That's my guys over there too, and nothing but love for them. But you don't have to do my Delcastle boys that way. Like, damn, man, what's going on, man?
All right.
Yes, I wear my biases. I'm never be ashamed of letting your biases out, but shout out to them. They deserve to be in there. And shout out to McKean, like you said earlier. I'm still a little bit surprised Dickinson didn't get in, though.
Me too. I think what hurt them is when they lost their friends in the season finale. That might be what hurt them.
I was at that game, and they were terrible in that game.
And Glasgow. They should be Glasgow, too.
Yeah, they should have been. Yeah, that was one that definitely could have went either way.
They had a bunch of games. They should be Howard. They had a lot of games that let slip.
But I think, if I'm right, their top 2 players is juniors, right? So they might be a good team next year.
The whole star lineup.
They lost to one guy. I can't remember. There was a guy like number 10. I can't think of what his name is. I think I was at their senior night. I'm pretty sure they had maybe 2 seniors.
Yeah, they got one.
But only one that was effective.
I think that's started.
So yeah, that might be the team to watch in Flight B next year.
And Glasgow,
still got a lot back. Oh yeah, you're right. I think McKean is young too, right?
I think McKean graduates to 2 guys in the backcourt, but I think everybody else comes back for the most part.
It would be nice to see Flight B get back to being really competitive. Even though I'm again, I rock with finding them over at Howard. Those are my peoples. But I would love to see them get to have that competitive, that really competitive division again, like it was a couple of years back.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the Holding Court State Tournament Preview Edition. I want to thank Bruce. I want to thank G. And everyone, you can find the contact information for this YouTube channel, this website, this Instagram, this Facebook, all of it in the description below. To everybody in the tournament, congratulations for making it. May the best team win. We will see y'all in the gyms. Until we do that, y'all take care of yourselves and each other.
Best time of the year.
Later, folk.